Hey everybody, welcome to the Week 4 preview for Bibs of the Gridiron. First week of the season where COVID-19 makes an appearance and takes out some of the players for the games. I lost Derrick Henry. Danny Wynot was hit hard, lost James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster. But you roll with the punches. So now when they're bye weeks, we get to play them later on. So win some, lose some. All right, match one. Me versus Rich Heltz. Make or break for me. Rich is rolling along at 2-1, and I'm 0-3. 0-4 wouldn't eliminate me, but it would make it a lot harder. Key players for me. I'm gonna start Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. So, can I have a quarterback who gets double-digit points? That would be wonderful. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mike Evans. One of the only guys left there in Tampa, so hopefully he'd be a key for me. Need Mike Evans to have a big day. And for Rich, I'll say keys for Rich are going to be Mark Ingram. Good matchup against Washington. Hasn't really put it together this year, but if he's going to put it together against anybody, it's Washington. And the other key player for Rich will say Cam Newton. So Newton was great first 2 weeks and then not as great last week. So which Cam Newton shows up? The one matchup that'll be fun to watch, I think, is the guys who weren't starters who now currently are. So Darrell Henderson for me, running back of the Rams against the Giants, and Jerick McKinnon, injured for the last 2 years, over for San Francisco, Rich's favorite team, and he plays Philly. So that matchup will be fun to watch. But as far as who's going to win this matchup, if I had Derrick Henry, I would say me. But right now, I'm leaning towards Rich. But I picked me to lose last week. I'm not going to do it again. So I'm going to beat him. Next matchup, Graham, stumbling and bumbling. He's down at 1-2, our two-time defending champion, just ravaged by injuries. Versus Spencer, got his first win last week, 1-2. Just a sec, the tablet just decided to switch things on me. Anyway, keys for Graham are Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is potentially back this week. He practiced, so if Michael Thomas plays, that's great news. That means Graham's getting back one of his stars. If he doesn't, then he'll have to find a filler. And if you look at Graham's bench, it's not looking good. He also just lost one of his backup, Alan Lazard. Was one of Graham's backup players, and he just went out for a core muscle injury. He's playing against Spencer. So, Graham's other key is going to be Carson Wentz. Quarterback for mine and Graham's favorite team. He needs to step up. And do something. Sorry about that. The tablet just totally pooped the bed on me. And unfortunately, I don't have everybody's team memorized to be able to do it. So, keys for Spencer are Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's going tonight against the Jets, and he should have a big day. So, we're hoping that he has a big day anyway. He'd be key. The other key is going to be we'll go Mike Davis. Great in PPR. Can he do it in Standard League? He had a good week last week, so playing Arizona this week, so that's a big one for him. I'd say the matchup to watch this one is not between players. It's Graham versus the injuries. Because right now he's got Michael Thomas, Julian Edelman, Mostert, all in his starting lineup. And they're all questionable to play. But since I don't do that, and I'm looking at Matchup versus matchup, I'd say the fun one for me is the quarterbacks because it's Carson Wentz against Dak Prescott. So it's always going to be a fun one for me because I hate the Cowboys. And yeah. So pick to win. I'm actually going to pick Spencer to win this one. I just think his team has more weapons than Graham's right now. But won't be long now, and Christian McCaffrey will end up coming back, so we'll see how Graham does moving forward. Next matchup. This is a big one. 3-0 Jason Hahn against 2-1 Jason Calder. Jason, unfortunately, lost Jonnu Smith, his starting tight end, to the COVID-19 game that was postponed, so that sucks for him. I'm going to start with Jason Hahn. Key players for him: Brandon Cooks coming in the lineup. Houston going against Minnesota. It's a great matchup for a wide receiver. He's a key for Jason. And if I wanted to be a little snarky, I'd say his kicker's a key because his kicker got 25 last week, but it's a different guy this time because he was on the Tennessee Titans, unfortunately for me. And then the next one, the next key is Josh Jacobs. So first week for sure, Josh Jacobs was a monster. Last week the Patriots kind of held him and Waller in check a little bit, but and it resulted in it. So, or you saw it with Jason only scoring 105 points instead of the 130 he was scoring before that. So Josh Jacobs and like I said, Brandon Cooks. Over on the other side, I'd go Devontae Parker is a key. Miami versus Seattle. Seattle's given up a ton of air yardage to wide receivers because Russell's doing amazing. So people are having to throw the ball against them. So Devontae Parker is the big key, and the other one is the backup tight end that he put in. I don't know his first name. Dalton Knox, Dominic Knox, David Knox. I don't know. The guy from the Bills. Jason Hahn's got Waller, so he's got a positional advantage there. So Knox has to hold his own, and if he comes away with some points, if he gets a touchdown, then that could be an advantage. The matchup to watch in this one is the quarterbacks, though. It's Kyler Murray, who started off like a house on fire and then threw 3 interceptions last week, but still had 20-some points, versus Josh Allen, who's been one of the best fantasy quarterbacks of the year, looking like this year's Lamar Jackson. So that's the matchup to look at. I'm going to pick... I like Hahn in this matchup. I think Calder has a chance to upset him, and it's not really an upset this year, but I like Hahn to keep rolling in this one. Next match. Dan Evans, highest scoring team in the league so far, versus another one of my 0-3 brothers, Brady's Bunch, down in the basement with me. Keys for Dan Evans is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara has been sick since Michael Thomas has been injured. So need him to keep it going. The other key for Dan Evans is going to be James Robinson. He's been a stud. And picked up off free agency right before the season started. Really good job. Beat me to the free agent wire and got him. So great job for him. So the 2 running backs there are big keys for Dan Evans. Over on the other side of the ball for Deke, Tyler Lockett, wide receiver 2 on the season so far for our league. He's a key. He needs to be big. And Marquise Brown going against Washington. Marquise was Deke's keeper. He hasn't been good this year. The Baltimore Ravens haven't been great offensively this year through the air, and they just got exposed last week. But Derek's going to need him to step up if he wants to win this game. Matchup to watch, the fun matchup to watch, is DK Metcalf for Dan versus Tyler Lockett for Deke. So Seattle wide receivers going head-to-head. I'm going to pick Dan Evans to win this one. Deke goes to 0-4. Just because Dan's got some players there that they're rolling. So Next one, Danny Wynot versus Devin. So a fun stat I found out or thought of today is that Devin Baker in the last 18 weeks we played in this fantasy league is 17 wins, 1 loss. What is that one loss? Well, it was the final. Devin is the Peyton Manning of our league for the last 2 years. Start with Danny Wynot. So we got another big matchup here because we got another 2-1 versus another 3-0. So, from a greed perspective, I need the 2-1s to come back to the pack. But that's just me being selfish. Keys for Dan Evans is Drew Brees. Drew hasn't looked good this year, but Detroit defense doesn't look good, so need Drew Brees to have a big day. And Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, what a great draft pick for Danny Wynot. Aaron Jones has been awesome so far this year. Not Alvin Kamara good, but almost. So that's Danny's keys. Over on the other side of the ball, Nick Chubb is key for Devin because Kareem Hunt might miss the game. If Kareem Hunt misses the game, Nick Chubb is going to feast on Dallas. Dallas hasn't been stopping anybody. Next key for Devin, Mark Andrews. I could say Russell Wilson as well because he's fantasy and regular season MVP right now. If the season ended today, he's been amazing. But I'm going to say Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews had a bad night last week. He dropped a touchdown. He dropped 3 other passes. And, be nice to get him rolling again. So that's one for Devin. What matchup are we going to watch in this one? Again, we're probably watching quarterbacks. They're going to be the high scorers. Drew Brees versus Russell Wilson, but that's no fun. So I'm going to say kicker battle. Just kidding. We'll be watching the quarterbacks. I think Devin's going to win this game. I think he's going to keep rolling. But Danny Wynot has been known to pull some funky stuff. Remember that time he took Devonta Freeman over Zeke? Because Devin does. All right, last game on the docket. Drew versus Mike Yip. So I'm not going to name the guys. I wouldn't name keys because I'm going to name the matchup to watch in this one. But the keys for Drew are going to be whether or not Julio Jones plays. Last time Jones plays, Atlanta went off and he only got 24 yards, but he got hurt. So it's looking like he's going to play this week. He's going to be key for Drew because if he doesn't play, Drew's going to be in big trouble. You saw it last week when Julio went down. Drew scored very few points. He's another guy. I'm pretty sure if I look down at Drew's bench, he's just ravished with injuries as well. Yeah, Michael Pittman, Josh Lambo, Chase Young, Lev Bell, Cortland Sutton, just the list goes on and on. It's a bad year for injuries. All right, so Julio Jones, the one key, and Robbie Anderson. So Robbie Anderson going against Arizona. Is he going to see Patrick Peterson, or is Patrick Peterson going to go with DJ Moore? Robbie Anderson's looked great so far this year in that Matt Rule offense. So those are the 2 keys for Drew, 2 big wide receivers looking to catch deep bombs to help him get the points. Over on the other side of the ball, the keys for we'll go with Atlanta as well. The Atlanta wide receivers are playing head-to-head this game. Calvin Ridley, he's wide receiver 1 so far this year. So Calvin Ridley is one key, and the other key is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So in the past, New England has been able to somehow take out Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill when they played. So we need Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City to step up. So he's a big one for Mike Yip. And finally, the matchup to watch is the matchup everybody wanted to watch last Monday night and got treated to a great game by one and a total stinker by the other. It is Lamar Jackson against Patrick Mahomes, and that's what we're watching. Most of the key matchups this week, we're watching quarterbacks because in this league, 6-point touchdowns, quarterbacks score the most points. Mike Yip's going to beat Drew this week. Lamar needs to figure it out. And I don't know if he figures it out this week against Washington or not. But if he was ever going to figure it out, it'd be this week. But I am predicting that Mike Yip is going to win. So, recap. I'm going to beat Rich. The end. No, just kidding. I'm going to beat Rich. Spencer's going to beat Graham. Han's going to beat Jason Calder. Dan Evans is going to beat Deke. Devin is going to beat Danny Wynot, and Mike Yip is going to beat Drew. So if I'm right, by the end of it, we'll still have some teams at over, but nobody's eliminated yet. So good luck, everybody. Stay safe. Hopefully there aren't too many major injuries this week. So have a good one.